that I think is quite bullish. Sotheby's, who we know is an auction house, been very big in driving forward NFTs in the art space, or art NFTs. Them together with Christie's are really the two auction houses that have embraced NFTs. And we've now got Sotheby's announcing the launch of their own NFT marketplace. Obviously, only going to be an art marketplace, so they're not really trying to compete with Blur or OpenSea. It's not that type of thing. But they've made a statement and on the 1st of May, and the site is going to launch 13 notable digital artists, including Xcopy, Tyler Hobbs, Claire Silver, and various others that are well known in the space. And there's going to be a collection out on each of them. They did drop this nice video saying the next evolution of Sotheby's Metaverse, and they really have chosen some premier artists in the space. And because they've been so notable in the NFT space, Sotheby's, they really do know who the big artists are. And they've got a lot of them here. And then you'll be able to buy and sell the artwork on their own marketplace. And I do think as we continue to see this marketplace war between OpenSea and Blur, where the thing that they are fighting over is whether or not to enforce creator royalties. It does make sense, and I did say this almost 3 months ago, that there are going to be a lot of people's own marketplaces popping up, because there's no way for artists to enforce royalties on the platforms anymore. It only makes sense that they're going to build their own platforms because they survive off the royalties. So Sotheby's is doing that. There is going to be a 2.5% royalty on all sales that are happening there. I imagine what their thought is that, look, an X copy would much rather launch on us, where we can promise him his 2.5% than he would on OpenSea. And they're probably right. And if they can get these artists to solely launch on their marketplace, I think that this has a very good chance of being sustainable long term, because we do know, especially with artists, that they've been very upset that OpenSea sort of stabbed them in the back and went back on what they said. OpenSea initially said they stand by the creators, and then when Blur came out, they said we forced to drop the royalties now.
Yeah.
So now we're seeing Sotheby's coming out saying, hold on, if you're an artist, you want royalties enforced, come to us, we will ensure that it's done. So very interesting.
Yeah, and artists are like notorious, I guess in a good and bad way, for like they move where the money's going, bro. Like they're trying to make money. Like the joke about broke artists kind of thing, or they're like, I forget what the joke is specifically, but like all artists are broke kind of thing. That's like based on a ton of fucking truth. Like it is very, very, very difficult to make money as an artist, especially if you're trying to be like a full-time painter or whatever. Like you're basically a freelance drawer. And I'm like, that's difficult to maintain over a long period of time, because art's something you got to like pull out, sometimes. And if you're not feeling particularly creative, then like all your stuff is based on how creative you feel. It's not one of those things that you can just poop out sometimes. Like, so it's very difficult. So anyways, what I was saying, my point there was that like artists will move over to another platform because they're not making any money most of the time. So if there's going to a place where they can actually get their royalty now, they'll likely move over, bro. But like in the trading world, it's a lot harder because you're probably still making money on whichever platform. So they're just going to stick with what they know. But artists, dude, they will move over because there's an opportunity and they know it.
Yeah, I think they will, especially when it's a notable brand such as Sotheby's. Because the worry is, I'm going to move over to marketplace, but are there buyers or are there sellers there? And if there's no one there, what's the point, of getting royalties? I'd rather get my art into people's hands, through the mass marketing of OpenSea or Blur. But yeah, going to be interesting. I like it, and it's good. It's good to see where the space is going. Especially from an art perspective. Art and NFTs is another perfect marriage. It really is. Even like music and NFTs and content and NFTs, I really do believe that there's certain things that blockchain technology is perfect for, and art is one of them. I really do, because you always now, when you want to buy a really nice art piece from a very notable, like a Picasso or whatever, even if the biggest guys in the space who know what they're doing have said it's legit, you actually don't know 100% if it's legit. You
Yeah.
still don't. There are guys out there who paid $10 million for what they think is a whatever, a Raphael or whatever, and it's not, right? Whereas with NFTs, in theory, if you know what you're doing and if it's done correctly and the smart contract is correct, which can be audited, you can prove that from when it was done until every transaction from then until the end of time. So it just makes sense. And, it's